Hello, and welcome to Algebra 1, Credit 5. We'll be going over today just a brief introduction into inequalities before we begin today's lesson. Called for better or for worse. So a brief vocabulary. With inequalities, we want to think of things as we're going to be comparing both positives and negatives as maybe good decisions versus bad decisions. So I like to think of things in terms of better or worse. So this inequality symbol, you might know it as better, as more than, but sometimes it's a little bit easier to think of it as better. You might know this inequality as less than. When comparing integers, it might be easier to think of which is worse, for good decisions or 5 bad decisions. Is better or the same as, or more than or equal to. And of course, is worse or the same as could be seen as less than or equal to. But a lot of students that I have taught in the past kind of feel like this is a better grasp of the inequality symbols when they're comparing negatives and positives. So let's practice, shall we? Let's say I have, so think of negative numbers as bad decisions that people make in their lives, and positive numbers as good decisions. So you probably have some examples of that. I'm not going to go into it, but let's use the analogy, shall we? And then 0 is just making no decision. Making no decision. Okay? So we're just going to compare just to get your feet wet with inequalities. Is it better or worse? 1, is it better or worse than -5? So is 1 good decision better than 5 bad decisions? Or is 1 good decision worse than 5 bad decisions? It's better, right? It's better. So that would be that symbol. What about another one? I have 2 good decisions versus 6 good decisions. Which one is better? Is 2 better or worse than 6 good decisions? Is 2 better or worse than 6? It's worse, right? It's worse. Or less than. Let's try another one. 3 bad decisions versus 6 bad decisions. Is 3 bad decisions better or worse? Well, they're both bad, right? But is it better or worse? 3 bad decisions, is that better or worse than 6 bad decisions? It's slightly better. I mean, it's still bad, but 3 bad decisions versus 6 bad decisions might be a little bit better. Give you an example. I used to have a lot of students who would break rules a lot, just kind of messing around in class. So, but I would still take the student who, only had who broke 3 rules, than the student who maybe broke 6 rules. It's still a little bit better. Let's try another one. 4 is better or worse than 0. So is 4 bad decisions worse than no decision at all? Well, I'm not trying to get too philosophical, but think of it like this. I have a student who maybe hasn't turned in their homework, is bothering other students, is, maybe destroying a textbook, maybe bugging another student in a mean way. That's 4 things. Versus a student who's doing nothing at all. They're not making good decisions, but they're not doing anything. Is 4 bad decisions better or worse than no decision at all? Well, the student doing 4 bad things is way worse than the student doing nothing at all. So -4 is less than 0. So just an introduction into variables, which is what we're going to be doing today. So X is going to be all decisions or all numbers, if you want to think of it in that way. If you want to keep up with the analogy, it's all decisions. If you don't, it's all numbers. So let's think about it this way. We have X, all decisions that are better or the same as 3. So we're going to think of things that are better or the same as 3. So let's kind of just test some values. So let's start with 3. Is 3, so we're going to be comparing it to 3. Is 3 better or the same as 3? It's the same, right? So we'll put a dot on 3. Okay. What are some other numbers that are better than 3 or more than 3? 4, right? 4 is definitely better than 3. So put another dot there. So now we're just going into graphing. What that looks like graphically. What's another number better than 3? 5, right? So 5 is better than 3, and then what do you think the next number would be? 6, 6, right. 6 is better than 3. So all these numbers to the right of 3, including 3, are better. So I'd graph it a circle and a line going to the right. Try another one. Let's say I have all decisions are way worse or the same as 5 bad decisions. So we're going to be comparing, it can either be worse or the same, worse or the same, worse or the same. We're going to start with -5. Now, is -5 worse or the same as -5? It's the same as, right? So I'm going to put a dot on it. Okay, what are some other numbers that are worse? What's worse than 5 bad decisions? Is 4 bad decisions worse or the same? No, so I'm not going to use that. How about 3? Is 3 worse than 5 bad decisions? No, right? What about, what's another number? What's a number that would be worse? -6, right? So -6 would be worse. 6 bad decisions would be way worse than 5 bad decisions. Right? So all the numbers to the left, we're not going to write all of them out, right? Because that would take forever, but all the numbers to the left would be worse than -5. Let's try another one. All decisions that are better than 2 are better than 2 good decisions. So we're going to be comparing 2. Now here's a question. Is 2 better than 2? Is 2 more than 2? Well, no, 2 is not better than 2. It's the same as, but it's not better. So we're actually not going to include this. We're going to actually draw an empty circle. So we're not going to include 2 as a true statement. What are some numbers that are better than 2? Or what are some decisions that are better than 2? 3. 3 is way better than 2. 3 good decisions outweigh 2 good decisions. 4 is way better. And 5 is even awesomer, if that's a word. Better? Yeah. So all the numbers to the right, or all the numbers greater than 2. But we're just not going to include 2. We're going to draw a big old circle on it. Try another one. All decisions that are worse than making no decision at all. We're going to be comparing it to 0. Let's start with 0. Is 0 worse than 0? No, 0 is the same as 0, but 0 is not worse than 0. So again, we're not going to include it. We're going to just kind of draw a circle on it. All right, so let's try another. What's another number that might be worse than 0? Is 1 worse than 0? 1 good decision worse than no decision at all? No. How about -1 or bad decision? Is a bad decision worse than no decision at all? Well, yeah. I'm going to include that. How about 2? Is are 2 bad decisions worse than none at all? Well, yeah. Okay. That means all the numbers I'm going to continue. I don't have to test every value, but all these numbers to the left, all these negative numbers to the left of 0 will be included, except for 0, of course, which we're going to put a circle again on it. Try another one. All numbers or all decisions that are better or the same as one bad decision. So we're going to be comparing against one bad decision. Let's say is -1 better or the same as? The same, right? So we're going to include that. We're going to put a circle, filled in circle on it. All right, what's another number that might be, is -2 better or the same? No, 2 bad decisions are not better than 1 bad. How about 0? No decision better or the same as -1? Well, yeah. How about 1 good decision? Is 1 good decision better than -1? Well, yeah. You can include more. You can include like 2, 3, 4, 5. All of those would be included. Okay, let's try another one. Are all decisions that are worse than 10? All right, so we're going to be comparing it to 10. Now, is 10 worse than 10? No, it's the same as 10. So again, we're going to just draw a circle on it. It's not included. What are some other numbers that are worse or less than 10 good decisions? 9, right? 9 is way worse. 8 is worse or less. 7 is also worse. So all these numbers to the left are less than 10. Try some more. We only have a few more minutes for this lesson, but let's try some more. So just remember those when you're comparing. Again, if you want to say that this is more, less, more or less than, more or equal to, right? Less or equal to. Would definitely write all these down for your exam, maybe on a little index card just to keep these handy, and they are very helpful. And we're going to do a part 2 of this video, so we'll see you next time, and as always, happy math problem solving.